On this week's episode, we're going to make ourselves a lightweight snow bucket for the mini excavator. All right, welcome back to Fabbin Adventures, guys. Today we're making a bucket for the mini excavator, and I just need a wider, bigger volume bucket to move snow away from our deck out front. We shovel the snow off the deck, it all piles up there, and I don't like getting real close with the tractor. It's an old tractor and the clutch is a little jumpy, and I really hate to hit the deck. So we're going to use the hoe, and it'll probably end up being used as a light grading bucket later on. But for now, we're making out of lightweight materials, probably 1/8 inch on the back, 3/16 on the side, some 3/8 mounts, and it should be pretty simple little project. So let's get after it. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to remove this tooth so that we can trace this side out. I'm going to trace it out, probably take a picture of it, expand it, cut it out on the laser out of wood. Then I'll transfer it to the CNC plasma and we'll cut it out of steel on the plasma. All right, so I just notched this piece of wood out here so that it fits like that. We're flush along the bottom of the bucket here. We'll just trace the backside and then we will have our copy. There we go. There's our profile of the bucket. Should work. Now we'll cut it out and enlarge it. And I may just trace around and make it bigger. We'll see what I end up wanting to do here. So here is the original profile to the bucket. And this is how much bigger we're gonna make it. As you can see, basically 3 inches deeper, 3 inches taller. That should be quite a bit more bucket and it'll handle that no problem snow-wise. It's gonna end up being about 36 inches because that's what I have for 3/8 plate over there for the front, I don't know, the cutting edge of the blade. We're gonna still use a 3/8 plate across the front in case we end up working some gravel or some dirt with it. I don't wanna make it too lightweight. It's basically gonna be the same strength other than this back is going to be 1/8 inch, and I may end up putting some strengthening webs in here to make it stronger, but the bucket in general is going to be 1/8 inch. This stuff here looks like it's 3/16 throughout, but I would have a hard time bending 3/8. I don't have a press that's 36 inches wide that I can make multiple presses to bend this, but 1/8 inch I can bend that no problem, and it'll be just fine for snow and the occasional dirt work. So let's put that onto the arc droid and cut out the side plate. So now to tack it down, what I'm going to do is just put a couple of blotches of CA glue. Put some accelerator on there. Set this down where I want it. Technical difficulties with my camera work there, it keeps shutting off. All right, we're gonna make this bucket here. I'm tracing out the part on the arc droid right now. There we go. All right, let's put the nozzle on. And get ready to cut this out. All right, let's have a look and see how the old Yes Welder Cut 65 did. Pretty dang good. Just a smidgen of dross. That's it for cleanup. There's our bucket side. One bucket side. That should be pretty sweet. I don't think I'll change the settings on that at all. 30 millimeters second seems to be pretty good. Let's cut another one. Look at that. No dross. There's the other side to the bucket. Two perfectly identical bucket halves. Now we'll be able to finish our bucket tomorrow. All right, here we are back at her. We got both sides of the bucket laid out on here, just checking them over. I've cut a piece of my tubing that's going to go across the back of the bucket just so I have it kind of as a layout sort of tool, and I'm just marking in where I want my 12 gauge steel or 11 gauge steel to go and wrap around it. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to bend this. I think basically what I'm going to do is cut what I need out of this sheet and probably weld these or tack these two sides at the distance I want on the table over there, and then I'll just run the sheet in, start tacking the sheet, and as we come around here, I'm just going to bend it, tack it, bend it, tack it. We're going to try that. That's quite a bit to bend, but if I put a bar on there for a little extra leverage, tack a bar on there, I should be able to bend this and make it work. So we're just going to lay this out. See, I'm just putting some marks 3/8 of an inch in all the way around this. And that's about where I want my sheet to go around here, and then that gives me 3/8 of an inch around here for welding. That should be fine. It's similar to how they built the buckets in China, so I think we're good to do it that way here in Canada. Bust out my little fishing tape measure here and we'll see. So the reason why I made that plate 1.5 inch difference is there's 1.5 inch difference from here. Say this is 10 inches, this down here is 11.5. So it's a tapered bucket, right? It helps your dirt fall out, and like a square bucket, if you had some muddy stuff in there, it's gonna suction in there, but if you have a little bit of flare, the stuff falls out. So we're gonna follow the same flare, if you wanna call it that, as this bucket, and we should be good to go. So I should be able to basically cut that out, cut out my piece of pipe, put my sides on, weld it, make sure everything is square, tack my plate in here, and then start bending this bucket back, or whatever you want to call it, around, and then tack every so often as I bend it around. Hopefully that's going to work. Look at that. That thing cuts awesome. pretty darn good for a cheap little plasma cutter. You'll notice when I cut, I don't stand here and drag my arm back like this. I find that not as steady. What I'll do is I'll get in position and I'll just pull my whole body back to get more mass back here. It makes your cut not as jerky. It's quite a bit smoother. So there's your little tip for the day. What we're gonna do here now is we're going to put our guide back in and cut this side off. So here I tacked in the bar. I'm just hoping it's kind of temporary, but it might not be temporary, so we're just gonna put one more tack. What's happening is when I try and bend the sheet over, it's wanting to bow out the sheet here, and we want to keep it relatively straight or it's going to warp everything. So we'll throw a few tacks in. All right, I got her all measured out. This is going to be my cutting edge to the bucket. It's 3/8 plate, and we're going to cut her with the old Yes Welder Cut 65. And I do got to admit, the darn thing cuts good, but this hose really feels light duty. I'm really afraid that I'm going to step on it and mess something up, or drop a piece of steel on it and shear it. It definitely doesn't feel as quality as the Miller. Of course it shouldn't. It's a fraction of the cost. It's a really cheap little plasma cutter, but it sure seems to work. Let's turn it on. Let's see if we can cut this 3/8 36-inch long piece in one cut. Well, it certainly did the job. It didn't cut out. It didn't high temp cut out on me or nothing. So, I mean, that's pretty good. 3/8 plate, 36-inch long cut, pretty much without stopping. I just had to re-cut just a section here that blew out, that didn't go all the way through. But once I cut that 1/2-inch piece that it kind of blew up or whatever and didn't cut all the way through, I just broke it off. So I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. All right, there we go. We got the bucket up on here, and it's actually pretty light. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem, but its intended purpose is for snow, so lightweight should be fine, and light gravel grading or something should be fine. So let's put the cutting edge on there. Looks pretty straight. Finally got her all welded out, inside and out. It's welded, which is probably overkill, but tomorrow we're going to be able to figure out how we want to mount these, get them set. I'll probably put another strip of iron in here to give a little bit of strength to the back of this bucket, because that is only 1/8 inch. And yeah, we'll get this set up to where it's gonna work on our little mini excavator. Should be awesome to have a little snow bucket like this. Shouldn't take too much longer, and I think I'll probably end up putting strips like you see on the big excavator buckets. They got strips of iron running underneath there to give it a little more strength. I got some 1/8 inch some 1/8 inch flat bar, probably 1.5 inches or something like that. I can run a few strips underneath there to give it just a little bit of extra strength. All right, what we're gonna do here is take this piece of 1.5 inch shaft and we're gonna make some collars, bolt locks, or whatever you wanna call it, for the 25mm pins that hold the bucket on. And yeah, just gonna spin some quick up on the lathe, cut some slots on the mill, and we'll be ready to weld them on the bucket. Let's have a go at her here. All right, we got the bushings made up now that are gonna get welded onto these brackets. And on my little excavator, it has pins like this. I don't know if you can see it, if it's clear or not, but the slot or the sides are ground, making it a slot. And then they have these bushings milled out in a slot so that when this bolt goes down in there, it locks it, and then you don't need a wrench on this side, you can just tighten the nut on this side. So I'm just gonna mill out some slots out of these 2 bushings so that we lock in, and we should be good. So we got the 2 bushings, we're just gonna set them up in the middle here. Got these guys all done. A couple of nice little units. We'll go deburr them. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is put these in where they need to be. Just like that. Make sure this guy goes on the right way. A little bit of a staggered hole. Put these washers on the back side where they're going to get welded on. Put our nuts on there, just loose. They don't need to go super tight. All right, we'll weld these babies in place here. And we'll just cut a couple of spacers, 25 thou shim stock spacers. Those are gonna go right on here. That'll give us a 25 thou clearance. Light tighten. And then what that does is it'll give us 25 thou clearance for sliding our bucket, our accessory, onto the mini excavator. All right, let's see about mounting that bucket. We're gonna put on the first strip of stiffener. right, before I shoot any paint on this here bucket, I'm gonna take it outside and do some real world testing on some snow for the main reason that I built this here snow bucket for. Let's fire this guy up. All right, so this is what I built the bucket for. Every time we shovel our deck off, the snow piles up here, and it actually gets up this high. You know, it gets real high. We get a fair bit of snow here. And instead of using my big tractor to carefully get in along here and try and clean it out, I made the big snow bucket so I can just reach in, grab, and pull it out. Because getting by those stairs there with the tractor, you know, if you don't get it turned just in time, you're gonna rip the staircase off. So let's try out this bucket. All right, so as you can see, that works pretty awesome. I think she's gonna be worth shooting some paint on it, and pretty easy to build a bucket. So if you guys are liking this sort of content, make sure you subscribe, share, like these videos, give me a thumbs up, hit the bell to be notified. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm gonna keep clearing some snow.